Welcome to Face to Face. And today we're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about food pantry. We're going to go to Long Island. I'm with Payal Mehta. Welcome to Face to Face. And congratulations for everything you do for the community. You are a volunteer and you distribute food. I don't know if it's every week or with a community organization. So welcome.
Thank you so much. And yes, it is every week. It's five times a week. Yeah, okay. 5 times a week. Yeah.
So how did you end up being volunteer like this? And we're going to see some photo later on. And sometimes it's very rush condition.
Yeah. So I got involved because when I was in high school, I always enjoyed volunteering, and that was a part of the curriculum when I was in high school. And then as I got older and, life got in the way, I found that I wasn't really doing as much of that. So I wanted to find an organization that I really wanted to give my time to, not something that I just did it to do it. And so when I was looking, I found this organization called Community Solidarity. They are all vegetarian, so they don't give out any meat or fish or anything like that. And I was vegetarian at the time. I'm vegan now. So that really spoke to me because I thought, oh, okay, this kind of aligns, with my personal values, and it would be something I'd be comfortable with. And so I reached out and I showed up, and the rest was history. So, I got involved just by looking for something that spoke to me, because I really wanted to give my time and energy to something I really believed in.
But you have stuff you could be much more comfortable to be volunteer with than distributing food during the weekend for a community who have access to almost nothing. So, it's pretty rushed. So can you describe, you don't mind?
Yeah. The idea of, I think a lot of times what I thought of in terms of volunteering were things like helping the elderly, like maybe going to a nursing home. And for some reason, it just, I just had to think about what I felt comfortable with. And I didn't feel like I would feel uncomfortable, like going and doing that. Maybe I would feel awkward, right? Like I didn't know how to talk to somebody who was older, or maybe someone who had, was differently abled. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to try to get over that hump to do that. But this spoke to me. It's like, okay, we're giving away food. There's, you're dealing with food, you're dealing with vegetarian food. It was outdoors. And I just thought, let me go check it out. And I thought also this was something I could do with my family. I have a now 8-year-old son. At the time he was 4. And I thought this was something I could do with my family. It was near me, it was only 10 minutes away. At least one of the food shares is only 10 minutes away from where I live. So that's why I was like, let's give this a try. So, and it was, and trust me, when I first came, I was completely overwhelmed. I was like, what is this? But, I really wanted to learn it. So I kept coming back, and now it's like my home, honestly. Like I can't not go and help out. This is like just part of who I am now.
So I just show one photo. We could watch more, and then maybe you can comment them.
Yeah.
And
I can explain.
Give us a little bit the process of how does the magic happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what you're looking at are boxes of what we give out. And post-pandemic, what we are doing is we're making these 40 to 50 pound boxes of fresh fruits, vegetables. You're seeing it in the picture. There's tomatoes, strawberries, watermelon, bananas. So most of it, the majority of the food is fresh produce, and which is not usually what you get when you go to a typical food pantry or a food handout. It's processed, shelf-stable type things. Yeah. And, part of our mission is to give healthy food. So the food is coming from grocery stores, places like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. They set aside foods that, for whatever reason, they're not able to sell. And we volunteers, like myself and others, we go to these grocery stores, we gather up all of their donations, and then we just give it away. And we do that 5 times a week. There's 5 different shares. And there's a lot of volunteers, as you can see in these photos. This was in February of this year. Actually, this is in Hempstead in New York, at the train station where we operate, just outdoors. We have to set up all of our tables. Then all the volunteers are coming to drop off their donations. We organize all the food. So we put oranges with oranges and bananas with bananas. And then we create an assembly line. So what you saw in that previous photo with the when the snow is volunteers are actually making the boxes. So they're picking items.
I wanted to come to this photo because I think it's a most a powerful photo of what you are facing.
Yeah.
And when you say, I'm volunteer and I do distribution food, I mean, it look like, the nice stuff. This is not, I mean, as for a human being, this is not nice.
You definitely have to be bundled. Absolutely. Yeah. And look, we do it, I'm not, as you can see in this photo, I'm not the only volunteer. There's so many other people that come out. They give hours of their time to do this, because what you're not seeing in this photo is you're not seeing the line of people that are waiting in this weather to get the food for their families, because they rely on it, because it helps them stretch a dollar, if they don't have to worry, because this is about at least $100 worth of food in each of these boxes.
Wow.
And we give at least one of these boxes to every person that shows up. So if someone comes and there's, let's say, 2 adults and their 2 children in the car, and people do bring their children because, they can't leave them anywhere, they bring their kids, we'll give them 4 boxes of this food, which they can use for themselves. They can take to others, who might not be able to come at the time or at the location that we're at. And I know, and so here's a little bit of our car line.
Of the line.
So you can see the car with the open door. Yeah, this picture makes me sad, honestly, because this was earlier on when the pandemic first started, and we had to change the way we operated. So you see the people who are lined up and they're spaced out, right, because of social distancing. But you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but all the way to the left, that's the beginning of the line. And the cars are actually snaking around. And this is only the beginning of the line, because we have hundreds of cars, that line up eventually when we finally start. And one of the things that we had to adapt with the pandemic is, before the pandemic, everyone would just walk up and we would organize ourselves like a grocery store. So we'd have fruits and vegetables, produce, one section, pantry items, another section, breads in a different section. We'd even have fresh flowers. And you would just come to the section you wanted to, and you would choose the items you wanted. But post-pandemic, we very quickly had to change that. And that's why you see the line of cars, because we switched to a drive-up system. So we just, ask you to open your trunk, we'll put the food in, you don't have to get out. But as you can see, and there still are today, there are people who don't have vehicles. They have to walk up. So we still do accommodate them as well. But we try to get everyone, in the car line, just, to be, to help them feel safe, and to make our volunteers feel safe as well, so that we can still get people what they need. So, that's a little bit of what we're doing up there.
So I'm not understanding the logistic of that story, because I mean, how do you put it together? And you mentioned then everybody was volunteer. So collections, putting together the distribution, and then following what's going on with when you mentioned the pandemic, who I'm sure you saw an explosion of people showing up.
Definitely.
Who make decision of what? How do you can adapt to this changing situation so quickly? And because, I mean, in organization, it's good, and then you have a frame of work and so on and so forth. But when something like the pandemic happened, everything seems to be going through the window, and then it get very complicated to put stuff together, and then so. How did the organization and you faced the situation? I'm sorry if it's a little bit tricky, but it's
No, I get it. I understand you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I still don't understand. Logistically, how on earth are we doing this 5 times a week? We set up, we clean up, we do the thing, and every week, there's nothing there for us. We're showing up to an empty parking lot. We're on the street, on the sidewalk. We're bringing the tables, we're bringing the food, we're distributing it, and it's happening. And it's because I think of the way we operate. We are a community, it's in the organization name, right? Community solidarity. I mean, we are working together with the community. It's not an us and them kind of thing. I mean, some of the volunteers who are coming, they live in these communities and they themselves are in need, but they will come and help out because this is what, I think we need to do. We need to help each other out. And logistically, in terms of, your question, like, how are you actually doing this?
Yeah. Because I'm volunteer for 30 years and I know what it's a little bit about organizing stuff and the challenge.
There are organizations that get more funding. We don't get funding from the government, first and foremost. And part of the reason is because anyone who shows up to get food, if you go to our website, you'll see all the locations of where we distribute currently. Anyone who shows up will get a box of food, no questions asked. There's no qualifications. There's no how old are you, how much do you make, nothing.
That's what we call universal. It's a universal and no criteria to apply to. Very nice.
Exactly, yeah, because food is a right for everybody. I mean, this is not our food, right? This is just food that we are just helping connect, and reducing food waste. Grocery stores are going to let this go for whatever reason. Absolutely. Maybe they over-ordered. Maybe they just clearing something out, but whatever, they're getting rid of it. So why let it go to waste? Why not give it to somebody who needs it? Yeah. So as far as organizing, this organization is about to celebrate its 15th year in operation. I've only been with them for 4. So there's a lot of things that I think were trial and error, when they first started. But what I think now it's just sort of we show up and we know, the volunteers who've been there for a while. In terms of how are we organizing? So we have set stores that we go to. We have a schedule. And so we have volunteers that are organized in terms of like, okay, you're going to pick up at this store. And we do that on the day of the share. So it's coming directly from the store to somebody's home, same day.
So let's say you start at 9 o'clock on the parking lot, meaning then you have somebody at 6 o'clock in the morning, did a tour, pick up some food from Whole Food or whatever, and then you got this box into the parking lot and reorganize it. There's nothing in between.
No, not really. No, our food share. No, there's nothing in between. We don't have a facility. We don't have, a building, that we store everything. Nope, it comes straight from the store to the food share. And on Sunday, for example, the food share that's in Hempstead, that one is at 3:30. So some people are starting in the morning. Some people are starting later, but it's throughout the day. Some people are coming from very far, like they're coming from stores that are an hour away. But they're all using their own vehicles. We don't have a fleet of vehicles or anything like that.
So we have one vehicle. You don't have any van. You don't have any truck coming from. It's people.
It's all. I'm using my own car. My car is 19 years old, and it's going strong, and I'm using my own car. So
it's getting better by the minute, the story.
I mean, that's what it's about.
Because the food pantry normally, I mean, we see it in the city where it's big truck who go to some very specific places and they get a load of. But what you are describing has nothing to do with that story.
No, we do have a van. So sad story about our van is that we've had this van for about 4 or 5 years that we were able to purchase. And unfortunately, the van broke down. So 2 weeks ago. So if you go to our website, you'll see that there is a new link there now for an emergency fund for us to buy a new van. So that van, we have our CEO, John Stepanian, who, he is out there, every day, like working for this organization. And he is the one mainly going around and collecting what he can in this van. But there is so much more food. You can sort of tell from the photos that, there's so much more than just what this one van can hold. And that's why we have like this whole team of volunteers going out and picking it up. And if one volunteer can't do it one week, we find someone else, and that's just what we do. So yeah, it is exactly that simple. And yet it, as you understand, it is logistically it is a lot, but we make it happen because I think people can see that you can see the impact of what you're doing. You see the families,
No,
right?
no,
You are
I
putting
mean,
the food in their cars. So I can't, that's meaningful. It's certainly meaningful to me. So
thank you so much, because you make really my day. I mean, it's such a basic but such a powerful
yeah.
testimony and experience. And it's true. I mean, we can do much more if we get together and start to see all the
Yeah.
capacity we have to share. Really, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
If you have any news or anything you want to share later on, please keep me posted. That was your show, Face to Face, and keep please watching your news on presenza.com. And I hope to see you very soon. Thank you very much.